Okay. So repression, spirit is talking exactly about, I mean, look, I can't make this up, right? When I was looking at this card, that's what I saw. It was like rage, liberation, right? Liberation as rage, rage as liberation, right? How can we do that, right? Even her posture here gives us an example, right? I'm thinking of dance, right? I'm thinking of somatic a movement, right? I'm hearing sacred dance, right? I'm hearing screaming, yelling, yell into a pillow, go out into the middle of nature and yell, cry, scream if you have to, journal, right? But the objective is to not repress it, right? And again, I hear, isn't that something? The devil, repression, right? Usually when we think of the devil, I mean, I don't know necessarily, that's not the first thing I think of when I think of the devil, right? I'm hearing it's spelled devil, but it's pronounced devil. That's at the end of the movie of Cruella, right? In the spinoff, the recent one that they did, right? When they gave you the backdrop as to why she became Cruella, right? And even there was the scene right before that scene where she buries Estelle, and she says she no longer exists. Estelle was the one who, like she told her mother when she went to her, not the biological mother, the mother who raised her, you wanted me to be good, but I can't be good, right? I can only be me, right? And then one of these cards say that about, your radical self-acceptance. But there was another one that talked about, this is the one about being somebody else's game of chess. What's right for you with the eternal gatekeeper. Radical self-acceptance. You are perceived as what you perceive yourself, right? It's something about authenticity. Being authentic and true to yourself. Look, I can't make this up. 7 of choices. And what do I see this as, right? So the 7 of cups usually is showing you different cups with different symbols in it, right? But it's an illusion, right? Look at it, it's in the clouds, right? It's like a dreamy state, right? What are the illusions that you're falling for, right? And then again, I see it as what persona, what mask are you wearing? Are you the jester, the cowboy, the Viking, the angel? And it's almost like this person is choosing, well, which mask do I have to put on today? Which hat which role do I have to play? Now I'm hearing like a Shakespearean role from Shakespeare. It's like a drama. I just heard a melodrama, but that leaves you melancholy. And I'm hearing, don't beat yourself up, that this is the great orchestrated, again, they're going back to the to dogma, to indoctrination, to colonialization, right? What it's a greater scheme, right? Now I'm seeing like a puppeteer with puppets, right? I'm thinking of the Mystical Moments deck. In that deck, they beautifully use the some of the major arcana. So like the Emperor, they give it as a male, but they also flip her as a female. And in that card, she's in a courtyard and she has like marionettes, right? She's pulling the strings of the people in her court, right? So there's something about that, right? Because one of the cards, that's what it was saying. Lacking personal direction begets confusion and life as a pawn to someone else's game of chess, right? And spirit, and then that card is literally the floorboard, looks like a game of chess. You're being puppeteered, and I'm hearing, well, people are saying how. So for example, even looking at the yearly calendar, I'm gonna keep shuffling, right? So look at the yearly calendar. The year is already planned out for you, based on propaganda and capitalism. That's what I just heard, right? So for New Year's, yeah, and look, my throat wanted to, you see how my throat just wanted to lock up when I said that? And look at what just fell out, self-expression. But there is no room for self-expression, right? And even if you say, well, no, I express myself, but you're expressing yourself based on the dogma and the conditions and the hats and the roles that have already been, I just heard, preordained for you, but not by the divine, but by the other vine. I don't know what that means, but okay. Because the real you is being repressed. So you have to, I ain't got no time for fake. Just sip some crystal with the real. I don't know. Yeah. This is what you're doing. Right? And it's interesting because this card fell on top of the supporting, right? So that there is hope, right? You could, and now I'm seeing it differently too, right? Like, oh, didn't I say that there were women who voted for this administration? So, you know, not only, oh, okay, Spirit, they just flipped that on me. So not only does the patriarchy and the misogynism come from the male or the masculine, but women have been indoctrinated with the masculine, right? You got to chase the bag, you know, you're the independent. And I'm hearing that's even been puppeteered. You know, I'm thinking of 96, they're saying, Clinton administration. Was that 96? I don't know why 1996. But anyway, the Clinton administration, where they were so big on welfare to work. And who did they promote that to? The mothers, not the males. Look, ding, confirmation, right? And then there was this movie I just watched the other day, The Intern, with Robert De Niro. You know, he's playing like this 70-year-old intern. But there's this bar scene where she says, well, what happened to the men? It's like they reverted to boys. We used to call them gentlemen. You know, now they're like these gamers that dress like, you know, I don't know. There's something, watch that scene, right? Where she breaks down something in politics or something that happened, you know, in the world or in the U.S., not necessarily in the world, that kind of shaped that type of mentality. So there's something about, it's been also bought hook, line, and sinker, I'm hearing, by the women as well. Hence why they would vote for a sex offender. Right? Because, I mean, think of the insult of that. Yeah, even saying it hurts me. Yeah, but this is what's being promoted. You know, what persona, what part, that maybe that's why I heard the Shakespearean play, what part in there's something about Shakespeare, there's a line, and I just heard to be or not to be, that is the question, right? Sit with that. I heard clock it, right? Self-expression, but whose expression? Is it your authentic expression? They're telling me go back to the calendar year. So the calendar year, it's already set up for you in such a way, if you're here in the U.S., I can only say in the United States of America, the country, not the continent, but in the USA, right? Based on, I heard the Gregorian calendar, and that calendar that is followed, it's already, so on New Year's, you know, you normally are going to act a fool, get drunk, go to parties, have, you know, fireworks, what the watch the ball drop. Many of you are going to be in Times Square. Like, people fly from all over the world to go to Times Square to watch the ball drop. I mean, I know. I grew up in New York, never watched it there. And then when I moved to Philadelphia, went back to New York to watch the ball drop. So there's something about, so anyway, so that is already. And what do people normally do? They're out, you know, that week of buying the new shiny dress, you know, or whatever, you know, outfit that they got to get into, renting the cars, renting the hotel spaces or whatever. They got you hook, line, and sinker. You're spending your money. They already got you. Then, not shortly after that, they get you in February. Every month they get you. In February is Valentine's Day. And you go that propaganda. Now, millions of Hallmark cars and Dove chocolates and all kinds of and you're dressing up and you're buying diamonds and pearls and all these gifts. They got you there. Most Americans know where they're going to be on February 14th, or what they'll be doing the week of, or the week after, or the week prior. typically around that holiday. Then what is March? Isn't that what Easter? 9 times out of 10, most United States Americans, they're running around getting, again, spending money on clothes and shoes and the dapper hat and the, and suited and booted to the nine, and they got you there again, right? It ain't even about the religion no more. Then again, so Mother's Day, then Father's Day, then Juneteenth, then July 4th, Independence Day. People spend I don't know how much money on fireworks, and you're gonna be popping some fireworks or shooting some rockets somewhere, or oh no, I'm going to the shore and then the shore run tour. But you are a puppet already all year long. I got you, your family, and your pockets already outlined. Every year, the agenda is already there. So for you to even think that, well, I'm not as, unless you're not participating in any of that, then you're in that too. And it doesn't stop there, right? Then comes Spirit is saying they got you with the sporting events. Football season, basketball season, hockey season, baseball season. And it's not saying like don't enjoy yourself or don't, but just understand that there's already people who have this already pretty much planned out to make the money, and they're banking on it, guaranteed. Black Friday is coming up. Halloween, you're getting all kinds of costumes and big figures to sit on your lawn and prop them. Christmas, Thanksgiving, eggnog and turkeys. Now they're showing me the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and the scene where the little girl is saying, little Lulu Bell, whatever her name is, she's saying, but Dad, do you think really all of this is necessary? Like, is this really what Christmas is about? Because he's like got this long list and he's piling her up with presents. So much so he has to remove one of the presents to see her little face. So so can you really self-express? Or are you just this robotic, I'm just hearing zombie, walking zombies, And then there's one thing to be cognizant of it and willingly wanting to participate, but there's something about Spirit saying that a lot of it is just like subconscious and just mandatory, which is then contradictory to what was being said earlier when Spirit was talking about, well, what happened to our sacred consciousness, human dignity and human right, that is not just to be bestowed onto another, but onto ourselves. Because even in a lot of these events that we're talking about, mostly all of them, again, in the USA, I can't speak for every country, there's a lot of drinking and drugging. And a whole bunch of other stuff that in moderation, okay, but a lot of the time those scales are blurred and it's done to an extent and people are hurt and things happen without intention, right? It wasn't my intention to, I'm not going to say that, Spirit, but yes. So where's the accountability? And again, it goes back to, I'm looking at the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror. I'm asking him or her to make that change, right? To truly look at themselves. And then even with this emotional energy card, the repression card fell on it. Look at the difference. In this card, there's so much vibrancy, right? Again, we thought about aligned chakras and all kinds of stuff, right? And look at the beauty and the peace. Here, look, angry. Look at the forehead. Look at how it's furrowed, I'm hearing, and wrinkled. Look at the eyes. Here, look at the peace. Look at the distinction. And then this self-expression card came out on the intention card. Right? Do you know? I just heard, do you know where you're going to? Do you know the things that life is showing you? Where are you going? Is that lady sing the blues? I don't know. That's lady. That's Diana. I was going to say Dirty Diana. No. That's another Michael song. Oh, wow. I shade Brother Michael. He all through this reading. But, yeah, Diana Ross. Are you another pawn to just be moved around in somebody's game of chess? Like a checker? Or are you willing to play chess in your own, now I'm hearing Julia Roberts and a Pretty Woman. I choose. I say who. I say when. Now I'm seeing the other movie, It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. When he's getting locked up, and he tells him, I want to hear my music on the radio. Let me hear you say it. I'm in charge. I'm in charge. Right? The white girl with the long braids, the blonde braids. I'm in charge. And both are feminine figures that I'm talking about, right? Who indicated that even in their circumstances, both were prostitutes, interestingly enough. But even in their prostitution, dang it, they said, I'm in charge. Now I'm hearing about in those European countries where prostitution is legal. But they're in charge. No, what that got to... Okay. At the bottom of the deck, support. So there, and this is the second card that comes out, right? First, it was the supporting women. And this is the bottom of the deck energy that would have fallen on this radical self-acceptance. That maybe that spirit's way of telling us that we understand, right? Or that it is to be understood that to think this way and to really begin to step into our radical acceptance, it is going to take support, right? Because it is, one, I'm hearing so radical for one, and two, so different, and I'm hearing contrary to popular demand, right? Because popular demand says repress. Popular demand says put mask on. Not just her, I got 5 on it. That's on my weed, right? Again, and there's this idealization of escaping, of numbing. But if I can keep you numbed and spaced out, then you can't be conscious. And if you can't be conscious, then how do you understand? How would you see your sacred, that your consciousness is sacred? You would disrespect yourself. You would ash the ashes on the floor in your house. And then others would too. And then I'm hearing now DMX, may you rest in peace too, brother. The snake, the cat, the rat, the dog. How you gonna see them if you're living in the fog? Right? So there's something about, again, the fog, the illusion, right? And being caught up. And as long as you caught up, you're a puppet, you're a pawn to their game. Whoever the there is, right? I'm going to let you decide. I ain't going to tell you who, do that for yourself, I just heard. But then I'm also hearing spirit is here to support you. You are not alone in this, right? That it is hard work, right? Right? One of the things that the last video that I did, that I didn't publish it because it became very political and I'm still kind of like back and forth about it. But one of the things Spirit talked about there is, reminded me of the 12 steps of Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous. And in there, the 4th step where it talks about doing a fearless and moral inventory of ourselves. Look at this. When I remove the card, the last card, beginning, right? And this would then fall over this external gatekeeper, right? New beginnings. Look at that. Again, there's something about the wings and flying, right? First dragonfly, now the phoenix, right? This one said acknowledge, assert, and protect what is right for you, right? That's a new beginning. This is what Spirit wants for you. You should want this for yourself. Or this, if you don't believe in it, this is your higher self, your inner child, your inner essence, your sacred consciousness calling out to you. There was somewhere I was going before I saw that beginning card. What was I saying, Spirit? Oh, that Spirit is, the moral, fearless and moral inventory is not necessarily fearless. It is fearless in the sense that it wants you to be radically honest in it, right? Again, so much back into, we can see the puppeteers, right? And we can see the overarching dogma and conditioning and all of that. But don't stay stuck there. If you stay stuck there, then you're not going to go to this new beginning. Then you won't defend. Then you won't self-express, right? It starts with, again, the man and the woman in the mirror. It starts with, I have to do an inventory of myself to see why I'm here, what has kept me, or even what is the behavior, the lies I've learned, the experiences that kept me thinking this way, and then so that I can again get to the root. You cut weeds with just a weed whacker and don't pull them from the ground; they're gonna grow right back. You didn't get rid of it; you just cut them down. You just made the grass look pretty, but you didn't address the real root issue. And look, departure. Right? It does take leaving. Yes, and that's hard. I get it. That isn't comfortable, right? It isn't comfortable to depart from the way of the world. The way you've always done things. The family and friends, that's what glues y'all together. The fact that y'all all put on these personas and masks. And to walk away from that, right? Or to, I'm hearing now, swim up against the stream and then say, that's the illusion, that's the deceit. That real, that the real flow is flowing with the stream. And that when you're repressing and putting on these masks and all that, that's flowing, that's going against the stream. But they flip it. Somebody flipping it. And it's for the advantage of others, and usually for mullah, the control of resources and money. And for that, I will subjugate you and keep you subservient. You will be a pawn in my chess game. And I'm hearing you will be triumphant if you trust. If you trust. And again, I wanted to hear, I heard the scripture, trust in me and lean not to your own understanding. But again, there's possibly atheists or agnostic that are listening. Trust your inner intuition. Trust your inner authenticity. If you don't believe in a higher power, okay, then you are real, right? You're real. If you're living, then you're real. Then who is the real you? Now I just heard, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Please. And if you stand up, Slim Shady, now I'm hearing, I'm cleaning up my closet. I'm sorry, mama. I never meant to hurt you. So there's mother wounds here, right? That's going back to the feminine, right? And particularly now they're talking about these emasculated males that then put on these personas and then act out in these patriarchal, misogynistic ways, right? And repress their femininity, right? But they're saying you will be triumphant. And then that's another thing. They sell you the lie that if you be a man up, or even as the women, be masculine, chase that bag, that's the triumph. No, that's the okie doke. It's the okie doke. Look, keeps you in overload. You tired, I heard. Your back hurt, dog. The pressure done got too much. It's done. It's a 10. It's a wrap. Finito. Stop the fucking consumption. They stuffing this shit down your throat. Hook, line, and sinker. You a fish. And I heard what they call that? What the kids call that? Flip bait? Is that what it called? Clickbait.